It's time to get some sports sense. You're gonna get some sports sense. You better get ready for sports sense. Sports sense.
Welcome back to Sports Sense, the show where we break down sports news for sports noobs. This is season 2, episode 20, and the first of 2026. So we're going to set the stage for you tonight for the year ahead and talk about the biggest and even weirdest sporting events that you will definitely be hearing about this year.
Coop. Hang on. Now that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good start. But I got to interject here before we get started with all the things we share and make it sound like I know something sometimes. I've got to come clean because I can't do it later. I got to get it off my chest, get rid of it, get it off my back. You know how last week I made sure that I want to give you my picks for the four CFP tournament games, right?
College football playoffs for those who don't know that term.
College football playoff games. Mm-hmm. You remember? So I had my 4 picks.
Your 4 picks. You mean for the final
the winners
4?
For the winners. No. So there was 4 games, 8 teams.
Oh, yes. You picked the winners of the 4 games.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show you how good I was going to pick of those 4 games.
You must have gotten messed up because it was a crazy week.
I gotta cover this. I gotta be honest with the group, with the team. I went 1-3.
Oh,
so this is how bad it was. I picked Texas Tech to upset Oregon. What a terrible one. Texas Tech didn't even score. That was like middle school playing against the varsity college team.
And we were hoping that they were going to go all the way and make BYU
to look good for
better.
BYU, so it stunk all the way. Next, I picked Georgia, remember, to win the whole thing. So you got to look at our brackets. I must have sucked on the bracket. But they lost to an crazy. Now, that was the best game of the 4 to Ole Miss. We thought Ole Miss. Right. I thought Ole Miss had no chance. Miami, number 10 seed. They're lucky to be there, right? And then they manhandled Ohio State.
Crazy.
Who was basically the number 2 seed. So those are the 3 I lost. The only one I won was Indiana beat Alabama handily, embarrassed them. Yeah. But all I wrote on my note to myself was bad, very bad. So I had to be up front. Want to get that out of there before. See, and that's going to hurt because I want to make some more predictions.
You are imperfect.
Very, very, very. And I want to make some more predictions before this is over with tonight. And it's going to, but that's why you got to get back on the horse, right? You got to get back on the horse. But anyway, so I wanted to get that out there.
I mean, I'm way to own up to it and just come clean. Yeah. Because I do glaze you, as they say, pretty hard as being like an incredible predictor.
Prognosticator. Yeah.
Wait, what did you say?
Prognosticator.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. Does that mean predictor?
Yes. Predictor is a little odd sounding, but prophesied does definitely not sound right. But prognosticator. We've been if you're from north or south. You haven't?
No.
Oh my gosh. Google it.
But okay, I'm scared what's gonna come. Oh, like prognosis is the doctor term, and then which makes sense, like you're given but prognosticator, the person who foretells or prophesies, there you go, a future event. Well, okay, well, there you go. You're the official podcast prognosticator. We'll give you that title.
I like a title. Yeah, that's pretty good. But this is not the week to talk about it, though, apparently.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I was keeping an eye on things, and I was thinking, whoa, like just based on the podcast, we did not expect Miami to go this far, especially against Ohio State, who you stated a couple episodes ago was the greatest team in the league.
Yeah, I felt like they were, the best.
Which they had seemed to prove themselves as such. So there's a term that I want to get into with our Sports Speak, a bonus one that you don't know about that has to do with what you're just talking about. So since you're done with your confessional, let's get into our Sports Speaks, our Spork Speaks section. Let us learn some Sports Speak. Caleb was texting in our group chat about Ohio State losing, and he said, I guess it really gets across the idea of rust versus rest. Do you remember him texting that?
Yes.
I thought that was an interesting term because I was like, I don't know if that came out of the sports world, but it seems to apply to a lot of different things. Like, I took 2 weeks off for Christmas and came back to work yesterday, and I barely remembered how to do my job, so I rusted, I think.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. Do you know where that term comes from, or do you use?
Well, I don't know where it
hear them
originated
using that
from,
much in
but
sports?
it is definitely heavy in the sports. It's one of the it's talked about all the time. So Ohio State had the first week bye, right? They had earned the bye, so they didn't play. But Miami's been playing. Now, interesting enough, too, Miami, because they were so on the bubble of getting into the CFP, right, a playoff, that they've been playing for weeks like every game was a tournament game, right?
Yeah.
They had to keep winning to have a chance to be in the college football playoff. And then they had to play the first game, of course, to advance to the second game against Ohio State. So, yeah, that is the big debate. Quite often, NFL playoffs are coming on. There's 2 teams who are number 1 seeds that are going to have the week off. Now, at the NFL level, professional level, I don't think it's near as impactful. In fact, I think it's beneficial for the professionals because it gives them another full 7 days to heal this time of year.
Yeah, they're so beat up
physically. And they're professionals. They're not as let's just put it away. College sports, as I've talked many a time, I talked with your other brother quite often about how it's such and high school, it's such they're emotional young men generally, or young women. And if you hit the right chord at the right time with them, that emotion can carry them a long way, at least during a game. But professionals, especially older professionals, not so much. You can't just go give the rah-rah speech. You got to have a lot more substance than that. So I think that's where the rust with young people who get out of the groove, all of a sudden they had an extra week and maybe they stayed up playing video games extra late every night. Who knows? I don't know. They maybe lose their concentration and they don't get to hit each other as often or get live game action. So I would fall for college sports. I think it's something that's real. Professional, not so much. That's my take on that.
Okay. It's more restful for professionals to have some time off, more restful for the college kids.
And if we want to add a really interesting musical note here, one of my all-time great favorites, Neil Young had an album that was called Rust Never Sleeps.
Huh.
And so he was known for his, that's the name of his album, Rust Never Sleeps.
Okay.
I don't know. He had a song. It's all about, it's
Oh,
pretty cool. What made it so unique, by the way, the album itself, is he was always so heavy into acoustical music and he was storyteller of the masterful level, but this came in some heavy guitar, electric guitar and stuff. But I'm just trying to say it. Rust Never Sleeps. I don't know.
He's trying to get grungy and grimy for his hard rock
Rust
album.
Never Sleeps. Yep, that was back in the 80s. So, all right, that was a little side note for anybody that might be older listening.
Let's get back into our sports speak. As we get into the NFL playoffs and leading into the Super Bowl, there's a lot of talk of refs. And, was this call right or wrong? Did it impact, all these? We talked about how the NFL is a 1-score league. Each game is within a touchdown or field goal of the other team. So the calls that refs make are a big deal. So it got me thinking, because sometimes I hear you and other commentators say a different term for refs. Like I hear umpire. I don't know if that's a football. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about refs in general. What are the letters on their striped jerseys? Is there anything we need to know as sports noobs about refs to talk about that more intelligently during a game?
Well, real quick, especially with football, and we'll use NFL, but football, it's almost all refs, right? I think you're safe to go. I don't know. You start going to a lot of other sports, but you can referees, right? Refs, officials. They'll call them an official. The officials quite often.
Okay.
And they're interchangeable. But what is different is there are normally 7 refs or referees on the NFL field. I can't remember if it's the same for college. But real quick, and you ask about the letters, right? The letters on the back of their jerseys.
Yeah, the ones I saw, the big giant ones last time I watched football were C, U, S, and F. I don't know if those changed. You said there's 7
I'm not
on the
sure
field,
why you saw C. I'm still trying to figure out where C came from. That's a new one on me. So I think you might have missed on C. But here, let's hit the most important one. And it's really easy to identify this guy or lady. It's usually there are some female refs in NFL football, but not many. And I don't think
if we're being honest, it's mostly guys.
But so here's here's the one for our noobs, that the one you watch the most, and he's the one you see on TV the most, who makes, they have a conference, right? They get together, they're all talking, yellow flag has been thrown, they all gather up, and there's always one at the center, and they're always talking to the one. That one wears, think of a good guy, think of cowboys and, the old movies, the white hat. The white hat is the man in charge. And he is called, he is the head official. He's the referee. So referee, that is a title for him. All the others have different titles.
Chief referee.
Like some of the letters you saw.
Yeah.
He's the ref. He wears the white hat. He's the one that makes the call, makes the final decision. He's the man.
Okay.
Everybody goes through him. Now, all the others have very specific responsibilities on the field. So I'm going to do this real quick. Like let's go real quick. You saw some multiple letters, but there's actually a DJ, a BJ, an LJ, and an SJ. All those judges, they call them judges, called like down judge, back judge, line judge, side judge. That's what you're seeing on the back. Those are their different responsibilities. So, for example, and you, by the way, is umpire. They also do their thing. Field judge.
I knew umpire
Here's what
was in there somewhere.
Yeah. Yep. Umpire's in there. Umpire, he's right there. He's next to basically the referee, but he's still got a black hat. He's not the boss, but he's up there. He's like second in command almost. Because it's interesting. I'll do it real quick, but I think it is interesting. I do believe it helps our people, if they're watching the game, to not just think there's 7 guys with referee uniforms on just kind of hanging out, meandering through the game, right? They have their real specific physical location where they're supposed to be and where their eyes are supposed to be, right?
Okay.
So the umpire count, the referee, by the way, he's the one that announces all the calls. His eyes are on the quarterback, and he wears the white hat. His eyes are to see if there's roughing the passer or anything in the backfield. Umpire's next. He counts how many offensive players. He needs to make sure there's no more than 11. So he counts the offensive players. He watches the interior lineman for holding. Offense and defense. That's his line of sight. And he's near the sideline looking down that line. And it goes like that. We'll continue. I'm going to pretty much leave it, but the point is, if you're having a little fun watching the game, just look at the different refs and their different locations. But another big one is they call the back judge. He's the one that's in the very back. If they're heading towards the end zone, he's in the back. He watches for the real long passes, pass interference. Oh, by the way, you see that? You remember seeing refs run, which is pretty amazing how fast some of them run. When the player's running down the field on a long breakaway run, they're running down the side of the field. That's why you remember the coach that got ran over and they got a penalty because he's in his way.
Oh,
they're not. There's no refs. I mean, no coaches, no players. There's like a 2-yard gap, 3-yard wide strip lane that they're supposed to run up and down. They're side judges. One on each side, and they're checking for, did their foot go out of bounds when he's, sprinting down the field, things like that. If you're having a tackle deep down, they're running down the sideline. So that's the biggest thing I was just going to share. It's every one of those refs, those judges, the sideline judges, they all have a specific responsibility, and that's where their eyes are at all times. And then if they see something, they throw the flag, and off they go. And then they go have a powwow with the big man in the white hat, the head official, and he makes the call, and they go from there.
Okay. And how relevant are refs now with, like, at least in professional sports, with instant replays and, like, all the different angles and that kind of thing?
Very, very relevant still. And here's the why. When you can even, like an NFL coach they allow, I think they've got their little red flag they can throw to call into question a decision, right? A ref. They don't replay. They're really big because you don't replay. There's a good chance you're not going to have every call, thankfully, reviewed. There's not only certain ones at certain times because it seems to take too long. But here's why it's important. Refs are extremely important. They make a call, and even if they review it, quite often they don't have the footage to, let's say they make whatever the call, that it was an interception. But really, through it all, you really couldn't quite tell. There's so many people, all that. So when they really can't have the evidence to clearly, overwhelmingly overturn the call, then that goes with the call the ref made, right? Which happens a lot. and they'll say things like, yeah, they'll basically say it's ruling on the field stands or remains as called, or whatever the wording they use. Anyway, yeah. So it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. They're still very, very big deal, and they have an impossible job. If you think about the speed, I say that about any reffing, but in college, and football reffing, particularly officiating, I say it's extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult. I mean, they do a good job, and then they make bad calls. They blow it because they're human, just like a receiver drops a pass. He's a professional. He's got tens of thousands of balls, and he drops an easy one, right? So that will most certainly happen.
Here's a question for you. Have you ever yelled in person at a ref at a game?
Oh yeah, sure. Like, come on, ref. I mean, I know I would never be abusive when they get ugly and things, but I was like, or you start screaming foul, or he's walking, or
So, but have you ever chanted like, ref, you suck?
No,
or anything like that?
No,
nothing mean like that.
No, I just say, I would yell, what, that they missed a call, or are you kidding me? You call that a foul? That was a perfect block, but they're not where they can hear me. I'm usually never sitting where somebody or any kind of official is going to hear me. So,
interesting. All right. I'll let you do some soul searching.
I'm much more mellow now than I was, but
yeah. Roommate aid on that, because I kind of want to revisit that one of these days, and I want to hear about your worst, the worst comments you've ever made audibly to a ref.
No, I don't think I'm going to have any that I can tell you.
You do seem very reasonable. Yeah, you seem reasonable, but you get excited, and you used to get really excited about, especially your kids playing sports.
Definitely.
All right. Well,
although the best story I've got, I got to tell you, the best story is I didn't say it. But I got a technical foul and threatened to be thrown out of the game, and I didn't even say it. That was when Keaton and Jake played, and Jake's dad. I won't even say his first name, on air. I love him. He's a big guy. He's sitting at the end of the bench, and he was my assistant coach. And I'm standing there looking out, and he hollers something and a word I usually won't use either. And that ref, who was just a few feet from me, whipped his head around and teed me up so fast and threatened to throw me out of the game if I said another word. And I took the heat. I just said, well, what can you say? It came from my bench. It came from the assistant, about 5 guys down on the bench. And he had his head down when I looked around at him. And but he loves to tell that story still today. It's probably been 20-something years ago. He loves to tell that story. I don't get together often, but he loves to tell that story because he barked it out bad, and I don't say that one word he said. And boy, I got
usually.
I mean, never. I have
never. You said usually earlier, so
no. Usually I'm talking about what he said. Yeah, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I
know. Well, I don't say. But anyway, that was a funny one.
Off the air, you can tell me.
There's nothing. Okay. He just barked at him, and I got called for it.
All right. Well, thanks for digging into that with me. We really, I know you know some refs, so we should get an actual like professional ref on here to talk sometime. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I got a former ACC basketball ref for 20-something years. Yeah.
Oh heck yeah. Okay, yeah. All right. Well, there's a little teaser for a future episode, everybody. Okay, let's get into our sports news. I got a couple mailbag things, but I'll save them for the end. If we have time, we'll throw them out. They're mostly just a couple memes that got sent to me.
Okay.
But let's jump into our actual sports news. So the biggest thing in my mind that happened this week is that the NFL playoff bracket got set. The final teams got in, and the final teams got busted or booted out, that weren't able to make it. So the bracket is set. I think, tell me again, do we get a week off and then the week after the playoffs begin?
No. So we got wild card games to start. So okay. Can I back you up just a hair? Because this is going to make more calendar sense, right? Okay. Especially for those who don't love sports, they need to be warned. We've got 4 days of awesome football again starting. So the college football playoffs, one semifinal game is Thursday night. Thursday
January
night. 8th. One's going to be Friday night. Those are the 2 college football games that are the semifinals. That'll determine the championship game. on
Okay.
whatever the date it's going to be. I hadn't let's see. That will be on January. I can't hardly read the small print. 29th,
Well,
I
yeah,
think. It'll be 2 weeks later. 29th. All right. So that's pretty cool. So that's a big deal, right? So that's Thursday, Friday. Well, Saturday and Sunday, then now we'll go to the NFL. Saturday and Sunday, we have the NFL wild card playoff games. So you got 4 nights in a row of football, 4 days in a row.
Dang.
2 days college,
right.
which are big. I mean, these are big. Like I can't give you a big game of the week. These are all big games. So this is all we're going to have to pay attention to. And we'll talk about next week.
This is like almost peak football season.
This is
Kinda
like,
peak.
yeah, well, it's the playoffs on both sides. And this doesn't get any better than this as far as I'm concerned. All right. So yep. We got the NFL. It is set. You got remember the AFC and the NFC, National Football Conference, American Football Conference. They're on each side.
And are they essentially East and West, or is it more complicated than that?
Kinda. There's some teams that have straddled the line and been pushed in different areas, but well, no, there's not really East and West anymore. Originally, it was mostly just the American Conference way back in the 60s and the National Football League, and they finally merged in the late 60s.
Yeah.
So they had teams kind of all over.
I guess it's all rooted in sports history, but it really bugs me because it does the same thing in baseball or whatever, where it's like national or American leagues or conferences, which it's like, isn't that the same thing? It's so redundant.
No, it's the evolution of the professional sports, right?
It seems like the names are just there for traditional reasons, not for making sense reasons.
Well, they do. They've got function. I mean, you need conferences, you need divisions, you need to.
We are the nation of America, so you can't have a national league and an American league. It means the same thing.
But we've got a team from Toronto. So, and one day we're going to have teams probably overseas. A football team wouldn't surprise us from like Berlin or
maybe
London.
They need to do mainland and off the mainland. I don't know.
No, they're not going to be enough awful. Don't mess with what works. They got enough problems. But no.
Yeah, I disagree with that pretty passionately. Myself.
Side table that thing, but no, I'm just kidding.
We'll table
all right,
it.
So as I said, the Broncos are the AFC's number 1 seed, and they get the bye, right?
Okay.
And then the Seahawks are the number 1 seed in the NFC, and they get the bye. So both those teams gets the rest. Everybody else that made the playoffs, they're playing this weekend.
Gotcha. Okay.
They're playing this weekend, so pretty exciting.
It's not just wild card. It's not just wild card this weekend. Then there's other playoff games going on for the NFL.
Yeah, well, I call them wild card. They're they're all the seeded teams. I call them wild card. That's because it's not the division or conference. It's the one. So they're wild card games. Those games, the winners of those games get into the division conference, and then two wins get you to the conference championship. One more win of the conference championship gets you into the Super Bowl. Right. So
because usually wild card games mean it's like in March Madness where they mostly have the bracket set, but they're giving one more chance for teams to play into the bracket.
That's not really the way that's not.
Okay, so that's not. This weekend is just the first round of the NFL playoffs.
You can call it that. That's perfect. Yep.
Okay.
But anyway,
because there's nobody else
games here.
Because like I said earlier in the episode, there's nobody else to get in or to be left out. The bracket is set. So the games are going to happen.
Yep.
There's no more teams that have a chance of getting in. So,
correct.
Well, while we're on that, I wanted to mention a couple highlights of those surprises. So, our Carolina Panthers. So somebody asked me the other day, Brody, my brother-in-law, if I was a fan, and I said, "Well, I think at first I said bandwagon. I said, well, more of a fair weather fan." And he just laughed. He said, "If you're a fan at all for the Panthers, you count as a real fan because he knows how bad they've been for so long."
Think, right.
Yeah.
Yes, we have been down for 10 years.
So he says I'm allowed a pass. I don't have to call myself fair weather or bandwagon.
That's funny.
If you're a fan of the Panthers at all, then good job for being somewhat loyal.
That's right.
And so the Panthers are a big surprise because they had a terrible season last year, what, like 2 wins or 3 wins or something?
3,
And then,
I think, 3 or 4.
3.
Oh, then we
And then
actually we won 2 or 3 at the end that messed us up on our drafts. But anyway,
Oh,
yes, they
yeah.
have been struggling for quite a while. Yes, we
Right.
haven't been to playoffs in 10 years, I think, is what it's been.
And this season, Keaton said he feels kind of guilty about it, but we eked our way in because we tied to lead the division or the conference. I don't know what the term is.
The division. Mm-hmm.
With the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield leading the Buccaneers. So both teams were 8-8 by the end.
8-9. 8-9.
Oh, 8-9. Thanks.
They play 17 games now. Yep.
And so it came down to strength of schedule, right? Like which teams they had beaten.
It came down to the wins they had in their division. That's why the division was very important. So the Panthers had more wins against those 2 teams, and that's why they won.
Barely, right? Like you guys were watching the score on Sunday. Like I think it was if
the Atlanta Hawks needed. Atlanta Hawks. That's football, basketball. Atlanta Falcons needed to win. The Falcons needed to beat the Saints.
Yeah, if they won, Panthers got in. If they lost, Buccaneers would have gotten in.
Because the day before, the Panthers lost straight up against the Buccaneers.
To the Buccaneers, yeah.
If they had won that game, they would have taken care of their own business and been 9-8, and they won the division. It was over. But they all became Atlanta Falcon fans passionately for 24 hours. Yep. And the Falcons delivered for them. Thank for us.
But that was a big surprise because Panthers have a rookie quarterback, right? Or a really young one at least.
Yeah, he's young and he's been up and down.
Yeah,
I don't think he's a franchise. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, and like no notable,
but he's a good
real
guy.
Stars.
No, they had some injuries like others. They have a couple of good, but. They've done well. They've had a new coach named Coach Canales. They've had him there for 2 years. He really is doing some good things. And they've got a good GM. I like their GM, a former player. So I think and hope they're building. So this is nothing but positive. So the craziest part of it, we said in our text, right, is this first round is so you have the higher seed means number 1 is the highest seed. That's the best seed, right? Lowest seed would be number 8. So you high seed. Well, you would think, because we are playing the Los Angeles Rams, who had 12 wins and 5 losses. So you would think, you would think they'd have the higher seed. No, this is why it's called wild card. They did not win their division because
the Rams didn't.
Because the Seahawks won.
Okay.
So they're in a wild card. They're just lucky to be in even though they're 12-5 and we were 8-9. So the one with the higher seed gets to play play at home. They get to play at their home fans and their home stadium. So the Panthers, the Rams have got to travel all the way across the country to play the Panthers because the Panthers are number 4 seed and the Rams are number 5 seed.
That's hilarious.
Now, this has been a bone of contention for a lot of years that they think some folks would think they ought to once you get in, they ought to then reseed, right? They ought to say
based on record.
Right, exactly. Based on record. After you had the division champion.
I mean, that sounds fair.
This is the way it's always been, though. That's why,
Yeah. There's similar stuff with the college football playoffs this year where, a couple teams got in because of a similar rule. They were high enough in whatever section they were in. Sector conference.
Yep.
And so, anyways, I mean, and I think I was just saying last week, just make it the top 12 college football teams in the bracket. And so, I could get on board with that. I mean, I think it's reasonable. Just seed it by record.
The Rams are by Vegas a 10.5 point favorite. So we got some work cut out for us on that game.
Panthers are definitely the Cinderella story.
But we did beat them once this year already. We beat the Rams. We surprised and shocked the Rams this year.
Okay.
Let's go back to their.
Well, actually, I do remember that. Yeah, it was a big.
Do you remember that NFL? Let's see.
Well, I don't mean to stay on the Panthers too long, but
no, we don't.
But anyways,
stay on them
but that was probably the biggest surprise from my limited knowledge. Were there any other big surprises of teams that got into the playoffs that you wouldn't have expected this year?
Most everybody looks like who I was expecting. The one that didn't make it had their great comeback, but they came up just a little short. Well,
Ravens?
it had big consequences today. Did you hear about that?
Oh, didn't a coach get fired today?
John
The Ravens coach?
Harbaugh, after
Oh,
18
yeah.
years, got fired there.
Wow.
So that was a big deal. So that
Actually,
would
I
be
saw
the
a
one.
headline that like 4 or 5 NFL coaches got fired. this
Sure,
past
and they
week.
call. So do you know what yesterday was called in the NFL? It's called Black Monday after the last game of the season, because that's when the firings usually all take place. So yeah, there's already been, I guess there's, counting Harbaugh today, there's usually 6 or 7 fired every season.
Man, brutal.
So if you think about it, every 2 years, there's basically a new coach on half the teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it more remarkable that Harbaugh was there for 18 years.
Yeah.
There's a couple others. Andy Reid been there a long time at Kansas City. Of course, Steelers, he's been there 18, 19 years. So anyway, but the Steelers are the one that got in because they're the ones that beat the Ravens to get in. And that's got Rodgers, as the quarterback. So they're thrilled.
Rodgers, yeah.
I think they're going to probably maybe get killed by the Texans defense. We'll see. if the Texans hit and get a hold of Rodgers, because he's going to get rid of the ball so fast. It'll be an interesting game. But if they start hitting him, and he's going to have a hard time getting off the ground. If the Texans, they have a really good defense. Anyway, so I don't have any other surprises. No, I mean, there's so many good games. There's just so many good games.
Okay.
That's what it should be.
Well, I wanted to mention something about the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens. So apparently they lost by 1 field goal, which was attempted at the end of the game by kicker Tyler Loop. And he's a rookie kicker. And apparently he's been getting, the Ravens fans have been giving him a lot of flack on social. Not just flack, but like he apparently is engaged to get married. So they were commenting on his engagement posts saying things like, hope you get divorced, still have time to cancel the wedding. I hope everyone you love starts getting picked off one by one. So that's crazy comments from the
That
fans.
is the price you're paying. Poor kickers, they sit on the sideline the whole game almost, don't get to do much. It's cold and rainy. It was, in today's modern NFL, it was not a chip shot, but 44 yards is very makeable, and he'd been very good all year.
Yeah.
But he just didn't make it.
So I wanted to call that out because it's one of the big, it's a story that's getting memed. I don't know if Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, gave him a dirty look or something, but there's been a lot of memes about like the way Jalen Hurts looked at him. Although apparently in like an interview, Hurts has said like, it's fine. He's a rookie. We all make mistakes. So he was a good sport about it later on. But
as
anyway,
they
so you might see
say,
stuff about that.
We've talked about before, punters and kickers on the sideline, right? They don't hang out with the normal players generally. It has to be unusual. but when you miss that one, you become persona non grata, man.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk to you, look at you, see you, do anything to do. But if you built, and a poor rookie, that's tough. But hopefully he'll be all right and recover and grow from it and be better next time. Might be on another team next time. I don't know. They're brutal when they'll cut kickers in a heartbeat when they choke or miss sometimes. But hopefully he'll be back next year.
Well, pray for Tyler Loop, everybody.
Yeah, they should not. Those fans are idiots, and I'm afraid
those are the funniest ones to read. And sorry, I think we're having a bit of a lag, so sorry if I'm like cutting you off or anything. But the other fans have come back since to like argue with the mean fans and say, it's fine. He did great. Like, So there's been some people to back him up, but
they should, because really in reality, the team screwed themselves all year when they started 1-5 and they sucked so bad, and they lost some other pivotal games. The poor guy, they were lucky to even have a chance to be in that spot.
Right.
So I blame it on the team for having a bad year, not on one kick.
Yeah. 100%.
Makes sense.
Yep. Okay. One last thing about the NFL stuff that I thought was crazy. And I don't know if you heard this tidbit, Dad, but the New York Jets, famously awful this season. We've brought them up before from some funny comments that the fans have said. They ended up, as the regular season ended, they are the first team in NFL history to never get They didn't get a single interception all season. So crazy.
I heard that stat
tidbit.
a few days ago. I'm so proud of you for having that tidbit. Just 2 years ago, so 2 years ago at the beginning of the season, they were considered one of the best defenses in the NFL. When Rodgers first showed up, or 3 years ago, and he had his injury on the first series of the game. That 3 years ago, I guess it'd be 3 years now, they were considered one of the best defenses in the NFL. So to have their offense fall as poor to the worst almost, and then have their defense not intercept. And I like I said, some guy said, and that's playing Miami Dolphins with Tua throwing, 2 games playing on this year, Tua throwing a ton of picks. How can you not get one pick? And I think they had 34 touchdowns thrown against them and 0 picks. It seems impossible. It seems impossible. I do not know what happened. That is one that they'll never be able to shake. It'll be there probably 100 years from now, and they'll still compare. Well, they only have 4 interceptions, but not like the 2025 Jets. They had 0. I mean, I could hear it for the rest of my life for sure. That's a good one. Good job, Coop. Good job.
Wait, I forgot to mention one thing to rewind to the Ravens losing to the Steelers by 1 kick. Did you see this?
Yes.
The Steelers apparently had a priest bless the field with holy water prior to the game. Did you see that?
Yes.
And so
I saw did you see the video clip?
Yeah, where he's sprinkling water. And apparently
where he was sprinkling it, yeah.
Well, yeah, apparently it was the end zone that Tyler Loop missed the field goal at.
And pretty much right in line where his missed kick went.
Oh, really?
So when you see him sprinkling the water, it was the poles were here and it was right over here where the ball ended up
crazy.
Tracking.
Oh my gosh, that's really weird. And wait, while we're talking about religious stuff, this is basically now I'm getting into mailbag. But we got to mention it because it's just too fun. Okay, the Seattle Seahawks are looking really good to go to the Super Bowl, right? They're one of the best teams,
right?
So including this year, 2025, this past year, every time a pope has been elected, the past 3 popes, the Seattle Seahawks have gone to the Super Bowl. And the last time in 2013, they won. So anyways, people are thinking, oh, the new pope from Chicago got elected. Seahawks are looking pretty good. They might go all the way. So that's another funny.
If I were a gambling man, I might would base that on that they could get there anyway. That's hilarious. I did not know that. Great one.
So these are So I got the tidbits for you tonight. There's a couple fun ones.
Yeah, very nice.
All right. Well, I really want to talk. I want to talk the other stuff besides college football playoffs. But what do you have a really quick little update on CFP?
So the stink and the drama, which you like to come up with, is, and people can go read it if they want. The craziest thing is Lane Kiffin has caused some problems with some of the coaching staff with Ole Miss.
Okay, so former coach of Ole Miss left.
He said he could play LSU. The first they played, but he didn't expect them to keep winning, I don't think. And so he's wanting them to come do their jobs for him now with the new team, the ones he would hired. And it's caused and now they're hating Kiffin more, and it's that's probably, if I were to give you the drama piece of the 2 games left, that would be the drama piece. And then after you mentioned the Jets, I gotta tell you, there's a couple teams out there that are so bad in the NFL, and they're going to have the top picks, but the Oregon quarterback is so good, they're basically saying. And by the way, NFL, it's known, right? You're going to be the best player. You're going to go to some of the worst teams. That's how they try to keep parity on the draft. But they are telling the guy from who could be the number 1 draft pick quarterback out of Oregon to stay and play another year at Oregon and wait until somebody else gets a different draft pick. So I thought that was kind of funny. But CFP, that's the stinky stuff going around. That's the hullabaloo going on because of Lane Kiffin. So he's on the hated list of all Ole Miss fans right now and causing trouble. I think it's good. It might help Ole Miss. They seem to be loving all this as players, that it's the world against us. Coach, he's screwing us and da 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 da. They seem to be responding really well to that. So Miami's probably going, awesome. Dang it. Miami's probably thinking, Wayne, what, you're messing us up here. So that'd be the one. I think the Oregon-Indiana game just seems like it's the game where I think it's all the prim and proper and everything's in its proper place and all the right players and everything's perfect, right? The coaches are perfect, staff's perfect. And then you got I won't be careful what I say about the players from Miami. They got the wild hoodlums from Miami coming in playing Ole Miss, who's got the craziest coaching situation that's ever happened in the CFP playoffs. So that game just looks like a madhouse, right? It's got to be the most entertaining. If I were to pick one of the two to watch, that's the one I'd be watching, is Miami Ole Miss, because it's going to be crazy no matter what, and the fans are going to be crazy, and they'll probably have all sorts of signs in the stands about Kiffin, and it ought to be a blast. I mean, it ought to be a blast. So,
okay, fun. All right, that's a very good succinct update. So, we'll look forward to those games January 8th and 9th this week.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's get in. I really want to do just a quick little forecast of sports in 2026 to help people basically see this is I think a really weird looking year for sports. So the first one that I'm going to breeze past, because we're going to do an episode about this when it gets closer with some real soccer fans, is the FIFA World Cup is this summer. And it's being held in the United States. That is the ultimate soccer tournament of the world. Then we've got the Winter Olympics next month of February.
Yeah, next month. February 6th it starts. Yep.
So that's in Milan, Italy. So that should be great. And, everybody loves the Olympics. So get ready to tune into that. Always great stories that come out of that, what we can mention in February. Okay, now here are the weird ones. So, of course, we'll have the normal stuff. We've got the normal rigmarole that we'll keep you guys updated on. But there's 3 really unique things that I wanted to bring up. So, Dad, you didn't take a sneak peek, hopefully.
I did not. I mean, I saw you list a couple things, and I had no idea what the heck they are.
This is what I've been so excited to tell you about. Okay, so the first up is the Commonwealth Games. Have you ever heard of the Commonwealth Games?
No, but do I feel like it's in England?
So it's basically the Olympics, and it's every 4 years, just like the Olympics, but it's held in the UK or any current or former territory, excuse me, of the Great British Empire. So it started in 1930, and it was originally called the British Empire Games. And nice. So you've never heard of this, Dad?
No, Commonwealth Games sounds a little familiar, but no, and especially the story you're telling about it and where it could be held. And
it's a real thing. So you might be thinking, wait, wasn't the United States formerly a territory of Great Britain? And yes, and that's one thing I want to bring up. My theory is that they're being petty and they just don't want to invite. They don't, they're still being petty about America winning, and so they're not going to invite us to the Commonwealth Games. But so if you go to the Wikipedia page, it literally says most former territories of the British Empire are invited. So I thought that was so funny. Macy thinks I'm way off. She thinks it's because we're just another superpower and we've got our own stuff, and so we don't need to be invited. But
well, they don't want us to win everything. But yes,
right, yeah, they don't want us to retake or not have our athletic evolution or revolution there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Commonwealth Games are going to be in June. I can't remember where they're being held this year, but they've been held in places like Australia, Jamaica.
I thought that was going to be part of the interesting. You had to get back to us. That's what I thought might be interesting.
Shoot. Okay. Well, yeah. I'll Google it right now. So the Commonwealth Games of 2026
might be being held in Ireland or something.
Yeah, they probably are. You're close. They'll be held in Glasgow, Scotland.
Scotland. There you go.
And forgive me, from July to August.
All right.
So, anyways, but it's basically if you like Olympic stuff, it's basically another Olympics. And it sounds, I think they're more summery sports, as well as like weird British ones, badminton or something. There's like some weird ones. Anyways, you could look it up. But okay, so let's get into really weird stuff. I got 2 last really weird events for you. So this first one, Trump has announced this year's the 250th anniversary of America being born in 1776, and so big deal. We love America. We want to celebrate that. But Trump made a couple kind of odd announcements along with that to talk about the celebration. One of them is he says, hold on, let me pull up the quote. So this is in June of this year. He says they're going to hold an unprecedented 4-day athletic event featuring the greatest high school athletes, one young man and one young woman from each state and territory. So
wow,
a lot of people have been like, is this the Hunger Games? Because that's basically the Hunger Games, right? Is anybody under 18, one young man, one young woman representing their district going for this ultimate battle.
I assume this is what you're calling the Patriot Games.
So
is that
he called them the Patriot Games, or somebody, I saw that on the official website or wherever. Yeah, they're calling it the Patriot Games.
Oh boy. Well, fun for the kids, but we got to check that one out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's a one-time event, right? It's a one-time event, right? One time.
I think so. I think it's for this America 250 celebration, but that's all the detail we have on it is what I just read to you. There's literally no other information. So no idea what that's going to be, but buckle up for that one because that'll be interesting.
Because he's probably shooting from the hips, and there's no telling what that is.
Yeah, and that's soon after that, in the month of June on Flag Day, he says this: we will have a one-of-a-kind UFC event here at the White House. It'll be the greatest champion fighters in the world, all fighting that same night. Dana White is hosting, and it's going to be something special. So, I mean, you don't love UFC yourself.
No, but I knew that one. I've kept up with that a little bit and heard about that. Is that what you're calling the enhanced games or what?
No.
That's something else.
That was another note. Oh yeah, let's wrap up with the enhanced games. I've been sitting on this for like 2 months, Dad. I've been wanting to tell you about it so bad. So this, for its first time ever, I wrote it down. This May, Memorial Day weekend in Vegas, Sin City, is going to be the very first ever enhanced games. So basically these rich billionaire people have gotten together and decided they have a reasonable argument. So basically their argument, well, I'll get to that in a second. Basically what this is it's going to be an ultimate competition in track, swimming, and weightlifting, because as their website says, those are the sports that define the power of human potential most clearly. And basically any doping or drugs, like any sort of medical enhancement that exists and is I think he says it does have to be like approved by the medical community or something like that. So like nothing illicit, I guess.
Right.
And that, but it is illicit traditionally in the sports world.
Right,
so basically these athletes with doctor supervision can use anything to get the greatest performance ever in these events.
Dog. That's a new
and
one
so
on
the
me.
whole thing is basically a big science experiment. And anyways, well, just based on hearing that, what do you think, Dad?
That's freaky. I think you're going to see hearts blow up. I think there's going to be vital organs explode. I don't know what's going to happen. And that's, you've got my interest on that one. You got my attention. I'm going to have to definitely find out more and check that out. That's kind of freaky. I mean, that is a little scary almost, but wow. I bet there's some serious bucks at going to be at stake too for this.
Yes. Well, so that was the next thing I wanted to bring up. So here's the couple arguments that I thought were pretty reasonable about it. So the first one is the main guy who started it said that he discovered the average Olympic athlete made about $30,000 a year when he decided to start this thing. And so I think he put up a purse. It's in the millions. It was like 25 to 50 million, somewhere in there. Anyways, millions of dollars at stake. We'll get back to you on specifics when the event comes closer. And basically that he started to recruit Olympic athletes and say, hey, come make some real money, come make a statement, be part of a revolution, he keeps calling it. So he's offering good money, although these people might be taking like years or decades off their life doing it. So that's
or they're definitely probably removing themselves forever participating in the Olympics again,
from
right?
other
I don't know how long it
from
takes
other
to get
traditional
cleaner,
events.
right?
Yeah. So
Fascinating.
definitely it's a risky thing for them in multiple ways. The other thing is that he said that I think he said, gosh, I can't remember the exact stat, but basically it was a large percentage of Olympic athletes confessed to some sort of doping or something like
Doping,
that
yeah.
in the past. And he said, and probably the rest are lying. And so basically his thing is like, it's happening, it's in sports, so let's just create an event where it's allowed and not allowed, but encouraged. Now, here's the interesting thing is on the website, it says that they're going to put up, they didn't describe how this will work, but they said they're going to put up these enhanced athletes against natural athletes. And so I think they're going to make them compete in some way or other. But it's going to be a weird event. They got a whole venue where it's a pool, a track, and something else all in one venue. And it's like, it basically only the ultra wealthy are going to be able to attend. But other than that, I think people will be able to join with like VR or something. People will be able to watch streams. So anyways, but super weird, right?
That's very weird. And I hadn't heard a peep about that. Obviously, I'm not part of the super wealthy group hanging out. So
yeah. Yeah.
I didn't get the memo.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one, Coop. I will look forward to hearing more about it and checking it out.
All right. Well, yeah, there's, of course, tons of things going on. Like there's racing, there's horses, there's who knows what else going on in the world this year. But those are some of the highlights of what I thought you're probably going to hear about the most in 2026, and everything from the exciting and traditional to the very new, untraditional, and possibly disgusting events,
or at least crazy.
Right. Wow. All right, Dad.
All right, man.
Well, that's what I wanted to cover. But do you want to do a big game or anything? No, you said you can't pick a big game this week.
Yeah, we kind of talked about, just going to let them rip and we'll talk about them next. I guess we should, Coop. I guess I got to do this.
Oh, what a new,
I'm not going to, I'm not going to
prediction.
Yeah. I'm not going to call. No, I'm not going to call. I won't worry about calling we'll call the NFL games next week, maybe pick some.
Okay.
All right. Let's make our picks. I mean, we're both blown out for the college football playoffs. So we got Oregon and Indiana, and we got Ole Miss in Miami. So my picks, I need to get them out there. I mean, I got to do better than last week somehow.
Yeah. Let's count down. I'll do a 3, 2, 1, and then we have to say our who's going to win.
So which game? Oregon, Indiana first.
Oregon, Indiana. Okay, ready? I know we're not totally synced up online, but we'll try it. Indiana.
Yep. Okay. We're in agreement.
All right. Let's do the next. Ole Miss versus Miami.
Yep.
Miami.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
For the championship, okay, let's say we have Miami, Indiana going up against each other. We got to give it to Indiana, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think they're the most well-rounded team, top to bottom, and this is going to be their year.
I watched a little thing about them the other day and just how much of a surprise. Like they've really turned around the program the past couple years or something, like pretty fast, right?
Yeah. Signetti, their coach, is unbelievable, and it's the NIL allowing for money to get to some of these other universities. In fact, that I'll close with this. That has been one of the interesting byproducts where 4 years ago, when all this was starting to come about, the sky was falling. People were yelling, only the rich will get richer, and they're only going to be 4 or 5 top teams. Well, the opposite has happened. Some of these schools have really ponied up some of their boosters and got some pretty good money. When you only have, if you think only 4 or 5 of the best teams or 6 of the best teams in the country, well, there's a lot of great quarterbacks, a lot of great athletes, a lot of great players who don't want to go to one of those 4 or 5 teams because guess what? They might be sitting behind a player, not playing at all.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
And you might get a lot of money, but they might be sitting behind. So they want to play. And so you spread out the wealth of the gift, the talent of these players. You spread it out to actually more teams, and they get money. So they're being taken care of and got some good money being paid to them, and they get to go where they're going to play right off the bat. They're guaranteed that they're the starting quarterback. right?
Cool.
And so that's what, and then you get a great coach who knows how to turn around programs. Signetti, interesting, had a stop in his growth from a high school coach up through small college, all the way. He actually coached over there in Burlington at Burlington, North Carolina, Elon University. He had a stop there for a couple of years and had a winning program. So pretty cool.
Wow.
He's an interesting story. I'm pulling for them now. The only reason I pull for Miami is because the ACC, right? We got bad mouth all year how pitiful our football conference was. So that'd be the only reason I'd pull for Miami. Other than that, I would never, ever pull for Miami. So I kind of got a soft spot for Indiana.
Yeah. Well, I will say I've been impressed by the quarterback. Like, he seems sharp as attack. And I saw one meme basically saying every time he's interviewed, it looks like he's been pre-programmed. Like, his answers are so prepared and sharp and succinct. It's crazy. He just seems like a really smart guy.
He's exceptional. He's unique and exceptional. So pretty cool.
Yeah. All right.
So we'll see what happens.
Thanks for breaking everything down. If you haven't subscribed, give us a follow on whichever platform is your favorite. We're mostly on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. With that, Dad, farewell until next week.
All right, buddy. Well done. Love you.
All right. Love you, Dad. See ya.
SportSense.